Hey everybody, welcome to the Bob's Burgers After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV, Season 7, Episode 19, Thelma and Louise, except Thelma is Linda. The title kind of explains it all, but we'll be going into more details about that in just a moment.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
The dulcet tones of the Bob's Burgers theme song. It really is. It really just invokes this image of this, great, kind of wacky family comedy. What you're getting into with this song.
Yeah. It's offbeat, but in a wonderful
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a very charming kind of way. Hey guys, welcome to the Bob's Burgers After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. If you guys have not done so already, please be sure to go on over to that old iTunes store and give us a subscribe there, leave reviews, let us know what you think. And if you are listening on iTunes, remember we do stream live on YouTube.
It's true. We're live right now.
It's true. We are literally live right now. Circa 8:30 p.m. on Sunday nights. That is Pacific time. I say circa because it's usually more like 8:40.
AD?
Yeah.
This is AD though, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
AD.
As long as we're using circa.
Exactly. But yeah, so you guys can tune in live and hang out with us on the air while we're
come digitally chill.
talking about all things Bob's. So to me, the thing that was most delightful about this episode, so as you know, Andrew, Bob's Burgers is notorious for their burger of the day.
Yes.
The burger of the day. There was one episode where it was about Bob's inability to come up with a new burger of the day, and so it was him seeking out his inspiration. But by and large, the burger of the day is just kind of a fun thing that happens on the board. It's like a cool little Easter egg to look for, kind of like in the opening credits, the business next door, which in the actual show is always empty and for rent.
Right.
But in the opening credits often has something else there, and also the pest control company. So in this episode, it was a curd in hand homemade cheeses that was right next door to Bob's Burgers. And then the pest control that came by is these are a few of my favorite things.
These are a few of my favorite things. I like that a lot.
And the burger of the day, there was only one this episode. And it was Glory Glory Jalapeno. And it actually was a plot point in the episode.
Really?
Yeah, which is very unusual.
Now I say really with that incredulous tone because once again this week, unfortunately due to scheduling things, I didn't get to watch this episode
But
yet.
it's okay because Andrew was very kind to sit here and let me explain it to him so I don't have to be here by myself.
I'm here to be woman-splained too.
Exactly.
So
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So basically, the sort of B storyline of this episode. So the A storyline is that Louise has gotten herself into in-school suspension.
Okay.
And Linda kind of throws her under the bus, but then has a change of heart because of the fact that what Louise was doing to get herself an in-school suspension was actually a pretty nice thing.
Right.
But I'll get into more detail about that in a second. But the B plot line is that because Linda's on this soul-seeking quest with Louise, Bob is left at the restaurant by himself with, Teddy just hanging out like Teddy does.
Of course.
And unlike your typical weekday at Bob's Burgers, they actually get a lot of customers in because these bikers who are doing this crazy long, they're burning 4,000 calories, bike marathon that day. Cyclists.
Yeah. I thought we had another one-eyed snake episode.
No. They were cyclists.
Okay.
Basically, they all kind of decide that Bob's Burgers is where they're going to convene. So that's their stopping point to hang out and have lunch. But it's so funny because they all eat a ton of burgers and fries and drink a bunch of beer, which to me I'm like, is that really what you should be doing?
One of my friends in college was a runner, and she would always have these enormous omelets, and the omelets were always sounded like the heaviest, fattiest thing possible.
Yeah, you're it has 25 pieces of bacon and 8 sausages.
Yeah, exactly. It has a full-grown adult ham.
Yeah.
You're like, oh wow, that seems like a
yeah.
lot.
I mean, the food thing I sorta get, but they're literally
fries.
drinking and beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, beer's like liquid bread, so I mean. I don't know. No, I don't know. Maybe if you guys run, if someone runs or bikes or does some sort of, we don't exercise.
Yeah, we're not really into
so
that
we don't
kind of activity.
understand how all of this works. We're like, wait, I thought you
let's put
weren't
it this
supposed to
way.
eat fries.
I enjoy rollerblading very much,
yeah.
but like I don't go and drink a bunch of beer and then go rollerblading.
I enjoy riding my bicycle around, but I don't. Yeah, also do that.
Yeah.
so
you know. I didn't know that was a thing, but anyway, it was very confusing to me. But
can you get a biking DUI?
I think so, yeah.
Probably.
I believe you can get a biking
I would
DUI.
imagine. Yeah.
So these bikers were being very irresponsible. But anyway, so the whole restaurant is just like packed and Bob is by himself.
Okay.
So basically as they first show up, Bob needs to clear a table to seat some more people. And Teddy wants to go clear the table. And Bob's like, no, I got it. It's fine. And then as the restaurant gets more and more packed and Linda doesn't come back, Bob's like, Teddy, I think I do need your help.
Oh, no.
So Teddy becomes like the server while Bob does all the cooking. And Teddy manages to actually, so everyone is ordering this burger of the day, this this Glory jalapeno burger, which sounds delicious to me.
Me too.
And he gets jalapenos in his eye, which if anybody has ever...
Teddy does or Bob does?
Teddy does.
Ooh, sorry, Teddy.
So if anybody has ever handled a hot pepper, you know that you do not want to touch your eyes. It's a very, very bad thing if you do. They burn extremely badly. And it's really funny because like Teddy gets the jalapeno in his eye. And you're under the impression that like he didn't just like touch the jalapenos and then touch his eyes. Like he legit got jalapenos in his eyes.
Oh, he dropped a jalapeno in
I
his
have no
eye?
idea.
Oh,
And then he
no,
like tries
Teddy.
to blindly serve everybody because Bob doesn't have an emergency eye wash station because who has that in a restaurant? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
To be fair, like I've only ever worked like catering restaurant wise, but we did not have an emergency eye wash station.
No, I don't think I've ever seen emergency eye wash stations outside of a classroom.
Exactly.
Science
Yeah.
classroom.
Well, and I'm sure a science lab, but I'm not a scientist, so I've never been in one of those.
Scientists, where else do you put those?
Yeah, I mean, emergency eye wash stations. Where do you get them? How do you install them in your restaurant? Because clearly Bob needed one today. But no, because I have handled a hot pepper before, and then like just touch your face in the vicinity of your eye, and it's awful.
Yeah.
Like when I did an episode of Hot Pepper Gaming before that channel ended,
nice.
and like they like handed me the habanero pepper, and I was like, okay, I know to only hold it by the stem. And I will not touch the pepper at all because I do not want to have my eyes burning in addition to the rest of everything in this general vicinity burning. So, yeah.
Solid plan.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really cute, funny little thing. And, you know, at the end, Teddy is still blind and trying to help Bob clean up. And Bob's like, it's cool, Teddy. Just like sit. I got it. And they're walking. And then, you know, Bob starts to go around and gather everything up. And Teddy's like, oh, do I still get to keep the tips? And Bob's like, yeah, they might be a little less than you think, though. Like, once you started knocking into everybody,
yeah,
kind of started to fall apart.
Poor Teddy.
Yeah.
Poor sweet Teddy.
They get through it, though. And it literally is just like this little side story of Bob and Teddy, like, getting through the day.
Getting through the day.
Yep.
I love that as just making it work. Yep.
But the main plot centers around Linda, who, and Louise, too.
So Louise has gotten in trouble.
Yes.
She's done a thing that got her in trouble, but it was a good thing.
The problem is it starts off with Mr. Frond has finally allowed Linda to be in charge of the big Wagstaff bake sale.
Oh, no. Of course, she's always wanted this,
in
right?
a previous year, because Colleen Caviello, apparently in a previous year, told her that she needed to make banana bread. Meanwhile, she had already made banana bread, so all they had at this bake sale was banana bread. So it was totally ruined. But now Linda gets her chance to be in charge and show up this Colleen Caviello character.
Yes.
And so she's really anxious to like talk about the bake sale with Mr. Frond. So she gets a call from him. She's like chatting about this with Bob in the morning after the kids have gone to school. And he's like, oh, you need to come down. Louise is in trouble. She's in my office. She's like, great. She thinks, of course, he wanted to talk about the bake sale, but that was not the case. At the end of the day, Mr. Frond really doesn't actually care that much about the bake sale, is the lesson we learn from this. But she shows up at school to, go retrieve Louise or see, what's going on. And basically, she finds out that Louise is in trouble because she pantsed the O'Brien brothers who were trying to steal the lunch of pint-sized Rudy. A pocket-sized Rudy. Yeah, pocket-sized Rudy. That's what it is. So And Louise was like, yeah, it's because they were like stealing his lunch. They were tormenting him. He's so tiny. He needs to eat. Like, come on. And so Linda initially defends her because Linda agrees with her that she's done a good thing, but she's afraid of losing control of the bake sale. So in the moment, she's like, yes, what you did is wrong, Louise. And apparently Wagstaff has a 0 tolerance rule for pantsing. They're part of a program.
Got it.
Yeah, so she basically like...
An initiative, sure.
Yeah. She sucks up to Mr. Frond so that she won't lose control of the bake sale. And then she has to basically sign a permission slip that says Louise can be an in-school suspension for the rest of the day because they figured out, as is definitely the case, and many schools have figured out that actual suspension, like, isn't a great thing because you're just, like, letting kids stay home.
Yeah.
And it's really not helpful to their parents who have jobs. Like, they can't do anything with them, so they basically just have to leave these kids on their own to their own devices.
Basically.
And if they did something to get them suspended, chances are they're pretty happy to like stay home and not be in school.
Yeah, to be not at school.
Yeah, exactly. But in-school suspension apparently happens.
Like detention, basically.
Right, yeah, all day detention though. Like, so she's in school. She has to like write an essay. No, it's during regular school hours.
Oh. Even worse.
And apparently this is something that has happened to Zeke on numerous occasions because Jimmy Jr. is very good at sliding notes underneath the door.
Also, he has pooped everywhere.
That is true. He deserves it.
I know. Is getting some sort of
Oh,
punishment.
Zeke.
For all of the things he does.
Yeah. So basically, however, even though Linda initially is like, yes, Louise, you did a bad thing. She like brings her into the in-school suspension room and talks really loudly, being like, you're a bad little girl. You got to sit in here and think about what you did all day. And is like slowly opening the window to she throws Louise out a window.
Oh, that's amazing.
And she's like, meet me at the car. Because basically she feels badly that Louise is getting punished for what she thinks it was actually the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And so...
they escape together.
They escape together, exactly. And so Linda says she's going to take Louise to get ice cream. Like, that's the plan. And then she's going to return her to school. And Louise is like, or we could just, like, blow off the whole school thing and just, I could live my life.
Yeah.
Well, Linda seems almost convinced about this until they go, until they're out and about. And in their journey, in their, like, quest to go get ice cream, they're, like, walking by the pier. And Mr. Frond shows up with his mom. So they run into, like, you know, the carnival area of the pier to hide from him.
Right.
And he's like walking around there with his mom, but he thinks that he sees them. So he's sort of looking for them. And they basically have to come up with this whole plan to try to, you know, get away from Mr. Frond. Right. Well, you know, Louise is normally not, you know, the most selfless of people, but something that we've been seeing from her a lot more often is that, like, and this even came out of a situation wherein she was legitimately trying to help somebody. I mean, her methods might be questionable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can't confirm this because I haven't seen this episode, but from what you're telling me, it sounds like, and I'm really excited about, that she's growing into this person who, like, is defending who is defenseless.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And she's using this, like, intense disregard for authority.
Yes.
And, like, it's like critical thinking more than anything. She just questions and demands, you know, she demands better from her authority figures.
Yeah, she's like a rebel.
Yeah.
She's very, like, chaotic good, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, she's a good person. She just doesn't believe in law.
If Frond were a stronger person, she might respect him. But, like,
right,
he's not,
but he's
so
not.
she doesn't.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, she does just respect some people. Like, the people, and there are people, like, I'm trying to think of exactly who, you know, I'm thinking of, but, like, yeah, I like that a lot, that she's kind of this plucky, like, defender of the weak.
Yeah, she is. She absolutely is. Well, and great. I mean, and in this episode, too, it's like, so basically, while Mr. Frond is, like, you know, pushing his mom around in her wheelchair because she had 6 ingrown toenails, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Yep.
I guess.
Louise and Linda are hiding, and Linda's like, all right, you know what? I give up. I'm just going to go with you. I'll tell Mr. Frond it was all my idea, because it was her idea to sneak Louise out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Linda broke her child out of school, basically.
Yeah. She made the call.
Yeah. And then, you know, you won't get in trouble. I'll get in trouble. And Louise is like, no, but Mom, what about, the bake sale? And she's like, oh, it's fine. But Louise is like, or I could just run directly at him and maybe I'll get past him. And Linda's like, no, but you're going to get caught. And Louise is like, I'll only probably get caught. But if I do, like, you can still keep this thing that you really, really wanted.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then Linda, of course, is not going to let her do it.
Oh, no.
But Louise distracts her by, you knew it was going to happen too.
Yeah.
She like looks at her and she's like, Mom, is that a bee in your boobs?
In your boobs.
And so Linda like freaks out and Louise just runs.
Yeah.
And miraculously, she does actually manage to make it past Mr.
Wow.
Frond and his mom.
And he doesn't see her.
No.
Wow.
Doesn't see her. And she, so she goes like running back to school.
Yeah.
And Linda then just like walks right up, once she gets literally right past them, walks up to Mr. Frond and his mom to kind of like continue their focus being in that direction.
To distract him.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of him looking over to where Louise has run off to. And he's like, oh, Linda, I thought I saw you here. I thought I saw Louise too. And she's like, what? No, Louise is in school suspension where I left her this morning. Of course she's there. That's where she's supposed to be. Yeah. And he's like, what are you doing here then? And meanwhile, like his mom has been like, I want to get my face painted. And he's like, no.
Oh,
he's the worst. No, he's so mean to his mom, who's
Frond.
like this very adorable old lady in a wheelchair. And Linda then uses as her excuse, like, oh, I just came to get my face painted. So,
how you do.
Right. Well, she says it's like a really inexpensive facial is her way of justifying it. Mm-hmm. So basically, Louise runs back to school, and there's been this whole other little plot of Tina and Jean sliding notes underneath the door to her because they went to go like try to get her to respond to them and they didn't hear anything. And that's when Jimmy Jr. and Zeke show up and Jimmy Jr.'s like, oh, I pass notes to Zeke when he's in school suspension all the time. Yeah. So she's like amassed this little pile of notes that Jean and Tina have been sliding under the door. So Jean's just like drawing pictures of angry hot dogs. And Tina is like writing incomplete haikus.
Love it. It's not even full haiku.
No, incomplete.
Yeah.
So Louise, manages to get back to school, and Mr. Frond comes in, and it's like this perfect storm of these sort of like series of unfortunate events that led to Louise actually having a cover story. So basically, he comes in, and he's like, why are you panting and sweaty? Because she literally gets in like right before he opens the door. And she's like, because it's really hot in here. So as Linda is trying to like break Louise out, she knocks the air conditioning unit out of the window.
Oh, amazing.
So it's hot in the room. She's like, because it's hot in here. He's like, you're right. Where did the air conditioning go? He's like, and where's your essay, young lady? And Louise is like, and then she like notices the pile of notes at her feet and is like, down here where I keep my essays.
Yeah, you know how you do.
Yep. And then he like unfolds them and he's like, it's an angry hot dog and incomplete haikus. And she's like, yeah, the angry hot dog like represents my feelings about the world. And the haiku is like, the existential crisis of how things are incomplete. And it was like, she's this really funny explanation. And he's like,
really good
yeah, it's really good reasoning.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, of course. I just, I wanted to make sure it wasn't something more meaningful or something deeper or not that. Anyway, that checks out. And then Linda runs in, and she has gotten her face painted.
Love it. Great.
And then she and Louise like exchange, winks as she's like, oh, have you been good and in school suspension? You've been here all day. You've been so good. And like she's like winking at her, and Louise is like, yeah, everything was great. I wrote my essay. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. If anybody's listening, she's emphatically winking.
Emphatically, yes.
And then Mr. Frond is like, why are you guys winking? And Linda's like, cats wink. They just wink at each other. Some mom cats wink at their kids, or some kids wink at their cat moms, and some kids leave their moms in their car with all the windows rolled up, which is what Mr. Frond did to his mom.
Oh, no.
And so he goes running out to go rescue his dear sweet mom from his hot car. And yep, that's how the episode ends.
Well, that was delightful.
Yeah, with Teddy singing "I've Had the Time of My Life" as the closing credits song.
If you watching and listening want to just hear every week Emma Fyffe describe the episode to you, I'm kind of into it. It's pretty fun.
Yay.
It's pretty solid. I feel like I really got a lot of the episode.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
it's like an A, B, and a C story.
I really enjoyed it. This was a nice one with a really neat A, B, and C story.
Yes.
Like Bob's usually has a very strong A story, and then there's usually a B story and sometimes a C story, but every once in a while you do get sort of that like classic sitcom format, and this was absolutely one of those episodes, so it was easy to, put a little bow on it and call it A, B, and C. And again, like, it was just so delightful that the burger of the day actually like factored into the episode.
Yeah, it became a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the Baby You Can Chive My Car burger, which is the only one.
Yeah.
Because he makes it for in the flashback, he makes it for the guy, and it's like the turning point in his like little career where he quits with his dad and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only other one. So I feel like we need more plot integral burgers of the day.
Yeah, it was fun. I think I would get tired. Like if it was something that was always an integral part of the episode, I would get tired of it. But when it's not,
like once a season.
Yeah, like once a season is really great.
Is a good amount.
Yeah, exactly. So that wraps it up.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's going to do it for this week.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for checking us out, guys. It looks like our next episode will be next week.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. May 7th. That is next week. So
May the 7th.
You never know with Bob's Burgers. We find out from Twitter. So yes, be sure to join us again next week. Once again, 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. In the meantime, Andrew, where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Andrew Mena, on Instagram at @theandrewmena, or just Google me with the Googler.
Oh yeah, the Googles.
The Googles.
And I'm Emma Fyffe. I am also very Googleable and findable on Twitter at my name, Emma Fyffe, EMMAFYFFE. I'm doing lots of things, but I tweet about all the many things that I do. TV Talk over on Collider is going to be live every day this week. I will be on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday streaming live at 8:00 a.m. Pacific time, so be sure to check that out. If we do well, then we will be going daily probably for the foreseeable future, which would be awesome. Also on Friday nights at 9:00 p.m. Pacific time over on Hyper RPG's Twitch channel. That is twitch.tv/hyperrpg. I do a show called Pencils and Parsecs. It is a Star Wars RPG. It is really fun. So you guys should totally come hang out. And your tips, and if you guys subscribe to the channel, you can affect the fate of the galaxy.
Dude.
Yep.
Get in on that, you guys.
It's real fun. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you all again next week.
See you guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.